Hey, WNOV family, this is Will Martin, and you're listening to The Difference. And we are literally, a week after the election. Some people thought it was going to take us a week to find out who won.
Yeah, man, the results came in fairly quickly.
They came in fairly quickly.
Fairly quickly there, sir.
I was a little shocked, man. I was a little shocked. I guess, $1 billion later,
Yeah,
I'm very shocked.
yeah.
So are you surprised, Jermaine? Is this what you expected? Or you?
I am very surprised. Just how the results turned out. I'm very surprised.
Yeah,
from the commercials and stuff that was playing,
and from the hype, right? I think a lot of the common wisdom was, hey, this might go a different direction.
Yeah, but what really surprised me, to be honest with you, was some of the conversations I was hearing from some of the men. Some of the conversations was just ridiculous.
Oh,
yeah, would and the whole thing.
Wait. Now you got my curiosity.
Yeah,
so
in listen,
what way?
I'm gonna tell you. I heard conversations like It's the stupidest thing. I don't want a woman telling me what to do. What's one?
First of all, you won't get close enough to see this woman. So what?
But not only that, but your mother birthed you,
right, and been telling you what to do.
Your mother been so that whole thing was stupid right there. Two, I heard somebody say women go through a monthly cycle and she might push the button. I said, this got to be the dumbest individual in the world, because one, she don't even experience that anymore.
Wow.
So that's it. Yeah, I think Kamala's what?
60.
Yeah, so she don't even go through the fire no more.
Okay.
she don't go through the fire no more.
Look, I don't know nothing. I don't know nothing about other people's business whatsoever. Let me just say, I'm just in advance. I don't know nothing about what she going.
I'm just saying. I was like, this has to. And the individual I was talking to, I said to myself, and myself said, huh? I said, this has to be the dumbest individual on God's green earth. And myself agreed.
Wait, and knowing you didn't say anything else.
That's
walk
it.
Away. Right? But walk away. So.
I couldn't help it.
But man, I'm telling you, this turned out a whole different kind of way, right? Look, the whole thing about Trump had been indicted on 91 counts. Was what? Convicted on 34, 36 counts?
Well, I'm gonna be honest with you, Will.
Bring it. This looks like it's you got a look on your face like this is gonna be worth gold. So,
but that's where my issue is.
Okay.
Because some of these fellas that have one felon, or two or three, can't even get a job at the bank.
Well, you know what the difference is.
Of course, it's the protection for the complexion.
I was going to say because you can run for office, right?
Man, listen.
Anybody that folks vote for can win.
But this is my thing, man. Stop it. You know I ain't going to win. That's one.
Well, you know I'm not going to
right.
At 5'7", I ain't going nowhere.
So we're gonna go ahead and throw that out. But it's just my whole thing of, to have 34 of them, and you have a person here that's applying for a little bank job and can't get in.
Yeah,
that don't sit well with me.
Right. No, I'm telling you, I think that's where the difference was, though, this time around, right? So you got people talking about all this sort of pie in the sky, how you feel. You can't eat feelings.
Oh, not at all.
Right? You can't pay rent on some feelings.
Not at all.
So to me, it was interesting because you had this aspiration and we're going to go out here and fight. We're not going back. Okay. But then you got on the other side. You got this time around, he won the electoral college. So people will say, well, that's the electoral college. That don't count. That don't count. Right. It's got to be, the popular vote. Right. No, he won the popular vote this time, too.
And that's true. And Will, I know you have a show lined up. You got this excellent young man sitting here, but I got one question.
Oh well,
for you.
we come into him. See, this is the warm up act, right?
Okay.
And we're gonna bring the professional in a second.
Okay. Well, matter of fact, I got a question for both of you guys. This is the same election process
Yeah,
that happened in 2020.
right,
Right. The same.
right.
They went through the same thing.
Everything.
My question to you guys is: it looks the same, smells the same, but all of a sudden it's not rigged anymore.
Well,
Huh?
you know what's kind of funny?
What's funny?
What's real funny is that the run up to all this was the conversation was swamp the vote. Make sure there's so many people voting that there's no way that somebody can actually steal this election. That's what the conversation was.
Yeah, but it seemed like from all of the hatred and from all of the people that was coming out against this guy, I don't see how he won the popular vote.
Well, this is the thing, I think, man. So here's the deal. Look, this guy ends up not only winning the popular vote this time, first time since George W. Bush since 2004. So it's literally been 20 years
Yeah.
since a Republican won
Yeah.
the popular vote. So that's first. Second thing is, remember how we were told like she was going to have multiple paths to win, and she was going to be able to win Pennsylvania and Michigan
Yeah.
and Wisconsin.
Yeah, a blue wall state.
Every last battleground state she lost. Every last one. Arizona,
Yeah. Georgia.
Nevada, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Georgia, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, right? Michigan and Wisconsin. Every last one of them.
Well, I'm gonna be honest with you. I think it's some fugazi in the game.
Oh, is that what you think is going on?
I think it's some foo-foo going around. I think
You know what? See, this is the problem now. Every time it goes out, now everybody's got the same.
Hey, they played the card.
So now it's like nobody's
Hey, man.
agreeing to the election.
I think something wrong.
But you know, this time around, you didn't hear nobody
Yeah,
on
I
the
know.
Democratic side say nothing, right?
Yeah.
I think people still in shock, right? I think they just still in shock. Like there's gonna be some serious therapy sessions people are gonna have, right?
So you guys
Become fun of
don't.
this.
So you guys don't feel like it's rigged anymore?
No,
Mm-hmm.
I think the effort was just different. You know, I think there was a concentrated effort
Yeah.
for them to get their base out to get out the vote.
It's a whole different conversation.
And
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
on the other side there were votes lost, right? So you have to think about the silent Trump voter that
Yeah.
went and voted for Trump, probably didn't vote nothing else down the ballot.
Right.
They just voted for Trump.
Right.
And you can see that present in areas where you normally don't see people voting
Voted at all.
Republican.
So
you
here's
know-
the thing. So before we get started with all of it, because we're gonna come to all of the analysis, but look, here's the thing that's so funny. Now we sat in here, election. What was that? Election Central.
Yeah.
We had a first ever panel
Yeah.
of the right and the left,
Yeah.
all at the same table at the same time,
Yeah.
and there was almost peace in the valley.
Yeah,
Almost
Yeah.
peace in the valley.
Yeah.
So the thing is, not only did he win the electoral and the popular and all seven battleground states, right?
Yeah.
But he got half of the Latino vote.
And that right there, I'm still having a hard time with that.
You know what
too.
they said? Ain't worried about no name calling. Ain't worried about what you saying on the news. I'm not trying to listen to the news. What I'm trying to pay attention to is my pocketbook. I'm looking at my wallet, and my wallet does not look the same as it did 4 years ago.
But
And that's
is
what
it
they
the
decided.
news? But is it the news that's saying it, or is it them covering what he's saying?
I think it's the same difference. They're like, I'm not trying to hear what all these politicians are saying. I'm trying to figure out what happened to my wallet.
Mhm.
And they voted based on, hey, can't deal with this inflation.
Yeah.
Can't deal with the fact my money's not keeping up with all these costs.
Yeah.
Can't deal with having to put food back.
Yeah.
Can't deal with this rent.
Yeah.
Which brings me to the next number.
Yeah.
So Trump got 8% of the black vote in 2020.
Yeah.
Okay, in Wisconsin. I'm not even saying everywhere else.
Right.
8% of the black vote in Wisconsin.
Right.
His percentage of the black vote jumped up to 21%, according to the exit polls. That is the highest percentage increase of any battleground state for black voters voting Republican in this cycle. So you take all 7 of the states, that were battleground states. This was the biggest jump. That was 13 points that he jumped in one election, and have not had this many. So 21. You're talking about 1 out of 5 black folk voted for Trump.
I think what really got some of the black folks over, just from the conversations I was having with some of the young men in the barbershop, was they said she's trying to turn our young men gay.
Oh,
No, seriously.
really?
And they was like, I'm not voting for her because
Is that the transgender
that's the
commercial that was
transgender
running?
stuff,
And you know,
yeah.
this is the thing.
Yeah.
So I saw some analysis about the fact. So for those who are listening, you know, there's an ad that was run that talked about, and it was not just them bringing up the issue, but that she was the one saying that inmates could have the surgery, but that it would be at public expense, right? Taxpayer expense, right? And I just think a lot of people, if you putting food back and you can't make the rent, people not trying to hear about all this other stuff. So I think, and the fact they never responded to it,
that's what got me.
If you keep running the same ad over and over and over again, and nobody ever responds to it, you know, that ends up being a thing, right? That you can't just leave stuff out there, right?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of this kind of had me on the island. It was just some of the stuff I'm looking at. I'm like, okay, why wouldn't you say anything? Because for me, I'm neither party. I'm Green Party.
Well, I remember.
So
this is a conversation we have.
I'm Green Party. So it's just the whole thing of why not hammer in if he's telling the people that you are the reason that the border is out of control. Why not hammer in about the bipartisan deal that Trump killed?
Correct.
Why not hammer in on that?
Or what are you going to do about it, right? If you got $1 billion, it seems to me like it'd be simple enough for you to be able to put out your own message about what you're going to do, right? Okay. So I think a lot of this stuff. So, but when you look at the numbers, and then I think Jamiroquan is going to come to this. We'll introduce him, but we've got so many people, you know, kept saying like, don't know what Trump's doing. The Democrats talking about, I done 1 million doors already, blah, 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 blah. We did 1 million doors on just this weekend, blah, 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 blah. Okay, but you're talking to the same people who are going to either show up, largely going to show up anyway. Trump and company were going to talk to people who don't show up. They don't show up for nothing.
And I'm gonna be honest with you. I didn't see not one Republican come to my door.
Correct. And you know why? What they were doing was going to these people who are already conservative but don't show up to vote. They weren't trying to convince people to be conservative. They were going to people who are conservative and just don't show up
and say, please come out and
vote.
So
they talked about there are something like 300,000 hunters in this state who are not registered to vote.
Wow.
Okay. They talked about the number of conservative Christians who are in the state who don't vote. Right. So you start ticking down the list of people who already agree with you on the subject matter. But they don't show up at the polls. Right. So anyway, this is all of our opener to the show. Right. This is our post-election decompression, post-analysis. So now we'll come to the experts here. Jamiroquan Kittler is the founder of the Black Policy Initiative. But he's got a history here in Milwaukee, and so Jamiroquan, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me,
and thank you for making a difference. So let's talk a little bit about how you got started. You are from Milwaukee, right?
Yeah, I am from Milwaukee. I grew up right up Capitol Drive.
Okay, all right.
So I'm very familiar with the area. I still love being over here too.
Beautiful. So what high school did you go to? Because
James Madison.
Okay, man. So wait. Carvey's all right?
No, I ain't Madhouse.
Oh, wait. Carvey is not all right with that high school.
A lot of family there.
Madhouse, right?
Okay.
Yeah, Madhouse.
Yeah.
Boo!
It's all good. You know, it's good people came out of there, man.
Oh wow!
Oh yeah, you ain't got nothing to
really?
represent.
Yeah, really. So, all right, now you actually spent years out here grassroots working one on one with folks, working in the neighborhoods, etc. Tell us a little bit. I met you when you were with Americans for Prosperity.
Yeah, I spent about 10 years almost
Wow.
with the organization. If you count my time starting off as an activist, I did back in 2016. I worked that entire election cycle, and I came back on to run Racine and eventually Milwaukee 2017.
Okay, so talk to me. For those who don't know what Americans for Prosperity is, what is that organization?
It was a nonprofit political organization, nonpartisan. They did issue advocacy work. They use grassroots tactics to elect policy champions who supported their policies and lobbied in favor or against policies that.
So, what were some of the kinds of issues that you were helping get out here to talk to people about in Racine and Milwaukee?
Well, right before I left, we were doing a transmissions bill. Right before our relationship split, which was basically a bill that was going to increase the cost of energy in
So,
the
so let's
state.
break that down. Transmissions. You're talking about transmitting electricity, right?
Correct.
Carrying electricity.
Correct. So
Right.
there was a lot of money that was going to be spent on these projects across the state, and they basically wanted to limit the people who had access to those contracts, and we tried to fight against it because we knew it would probably drive the cost up of the projects, which would then be passed down to the person.
Yeah, because it's a monopoly basically. We don't
Yeah.
have multiple companies. It's not like you have multiple options as to where
It's
you're gonna
just
buy your electricity from.
just we understand. You saw they ended up increasing the rates anyways, so they was gonna get it no matter what, unfortunately, and that's what happens when you have monopolies
Yeah.
like that in the state.
Yeah. So some of the other things that you've been working on, I mean, when you were there, I know that this
Yeah.
is a big, Americans for Prosperity is big on economics,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Your pocketbook issues.
Yeah, so we definitely were really heavy in the budget process. I
Okay.
did a couple of state budget runs with them, trying to get funding for school choice.
Okay.
Wanting to match that funding with what was already being given to was given to public school system, making sure that that money travels with the kid to
Right.
whatever school they want to go to. We tried to lower the number of dollars going over to Miller Park in the past budget process. That whole budget was actually really really crazy. And we'll probably talk about some of that in a minute. But really trying to make sure that there were tax breaks given to the people, that the money was spent responsibly. In some places it was, and a lot of places it wasn't.
Mhm.
But they really did try to hone in on making sure that the taxpayers, and all taxpayers, not just rich people,
Yeah.
but all taxpayers had an opportunity to save a dollar or two.
Well, and trying to make sure people get some of their money back
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
we had so much money built up, and the government acts like it's their money
Yeah,
when really they have made everybody overpay the taxes.
absolutely.
The word is rebate. You
Mhm.
should be able to get your money back, refund my money. So it's real kind of crazy that the government's still sitting on the money.
Yeah.
Yeah, they took it. That money goes one direction.
Yeah, and it's crazy because, think about the people in the communities here in Milwaukee, right? They don't necessarily have the greatest buying power,
Right.
right? So they pay their taxes as, maybe lower class citizens on the tax bracket. They can barely pay them already. They probably want that $30, $40 back in their pocket
Thank
every
you.
paycheck, but they can't have it, right? They give it to the state government. The state government says, well, we're going to spend it over here, but this won't benefit you. And we never going to see this money back ever
Mhm.
again.
And it doesn't come back to this community.
Exactly. How
Right.
many people on the north side of Milwaukee that watch baseball and go to the games, right? But they still get
How many can
money,
afford
right,
to go to the game?
to even get down there, the
Correct,
park. You know what I'm
correct.
saying? And so, unfortunately, we are kind of left on the back burner when it comes to making certain decisions at the state level with our funds.
Yeah, absolutely. Because the money's gone.
Mhm.
They're going to take the money one way or the other.
Yes.
So talk a little bit about how did you get involved with community organizing?
So a good, old friend of mine's named Orlando Owens.
Okay.
Sought me out when he was at the Republican Party, and he showed me around. And I learned a hard lesson in politics is no one ever keeps working. Everybody likes to take their ball and go home. They raise their money.
Yeah.
They spend it. One guy wins, one guy loses. Everyone goes back to the hole to figure out what to do
Mm-mm.
next.
I didn't go back home. My car got 250,000 miles on.
Well, you a different story.
Correct,
And
correct.
we know why.
I
But-
don't know. I don't know about I don't. I'm for day to day. I'm not sure if I know why, but I kept on going, man. I just kept on going.
there's a understanding amongst people who are in politics that after the elections, people kind of ease off a little bit. And I that was kind of how it was. I wanted the education system to be reformed.
Yeah.
I wanted the voucher system to be something that was prompted up, and I wanted the taxes to be lower overall. And I didn't see that.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to continue to work. Just because one guy got elected doesn't mean the work is over with. And unfortunately, everything shut down. I had to find somewhere else to do business, and that's when I met Chris Lawrence, who was working
Wow.
for
We're gonna
AFP.
pick it up right there, right after this break. Come on back to the difference.
What's the difference between me and you?
Hey, WNLV family, we are back with Jamiroquan Kittler, and we are having a conversation about just community organizing and how he got started, trying to deal with our issues and trying to make sure that we make an impact on public policy here in the state. So you were just talking about, how you got started in community organizing. You had talked about, you met Chris Lawrence, and so I wanted to let you just kind of take it from there.
Yeah. So when I met him, he was, I was kind of complaining that there were things I wanted to get done, the things I wanted to be a part of reforming and changing. And um, he was at the table. He said, we still doing work. I'm with Americans for Prosperity. We identifying voters right now. Just having conversations with him about the issues, and that was what I was all about. I didn't care about all of the theatrics. I just wanted to, make a better life for the people who I grew up around, people who I know deserve to have a good quality of life.
Yeah. Could you talk, talk about how you started to think about your next step, right?
Yeah. So I would go to the basketball courts with campaign T-shirts on, play basketball outside. That's my thing.
Yeah.
I like the ball. And then people would often come to me and say, "Hey, what are your T-shirts about?" And I would tell them like, the campaign. This is what they stand for. This is why I support these people. You know what I mean?
Right.
Um, as I'm doing that, these people is like these is kids.
Yeah.
They not a lot of them. They can't vote yet, or
Right.
they're just now able to vote.
Right.
You know, um, and they're inspired by my knowledge, and so they'll go back and they'll do their research because I would give them some information, and now this is what they on now. They come ask me more questions, and
Right.
because I was so deep in it,
Right.
I will have the information ready to give them.
Nice.
And so I was seeing where my voice was having a big impact
Right.
on what I was doing. And yeah, I wanted to continue to make that difference because I remember someone coming to my door one time,
Uh,
and that conversation lasted for about 10 minutes,
okay.
but never ever outside of that. And
Okay.
it was normally only the Democratic Party. If you saw them in the
Right.
neighborhood, that's
Right.
who was there.
Right.
And so I'm like, well, who's going to continue to have these conversations after the election is over? Because
Right.
I was hungry for this information. I was hungry to make a difference after
Right.
too.
Right.
Wasn't nobody around really.
Right. Right.
You know,
Exactly.
and so I started to gain a real passion for the difference that we can make just using our voices to spread knowledge,
Mhm.
and then not only spreading that information but empowering others to continue to spread it and to make a difference as well.
So, what made you get into politics overall? Like, what sparked your interest?
So I didn't do the greatest job at
Okay.
James Madison. So when I left,
Okay.
I ended up doing my final year at a place called the Wisconsin Virtual Academy.
Okay. Okay.
It was an online school that was paid for by the school choice voucher.
Okay.
So I got all my books for free. I got my computer for free. It was a real joy because I got to be at home. It was a better setting for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Going to school, it didn't work.
Yeah.
It wasn't challenging enough for me. I
Yeah.
wasn't interested in none of that. I work in politics.
Right. Right.
None
Right.
there was nothing I was learning in that school that I thought was important to me at that time.
Right.
I wasn't interested. There were no arts programs, nothing to make you want to go every day.
Right.
Classroom size is too big, can't really learn. So I saw that issue and I'm like, well, I want that to expand. I want to be a part of that
Yeah.
expanding. Let's go. I also owned a small business.
Nice.
So when I was 18, I started a record label called BH Records. It was Beautiful Humanity Incorporated. I started
Nice.
it as a gospel rap label,
Nice.
but ain't nobody listening to gospel rap. So I made a bad sacrifice on my part.
Uh.
Went to secular music.
Yeah.
And we did some things, man. But I mean that taxes,
Yeah.
it really ruined me. I can't at that point afford to continue to do business
Yeah.
because I make enough to pay taxes, but I don't make enough to pay taxes.
Yeah. I know
All
exactly
of my
what you're
money is going back into the business. And so
Yeah.
now I'm like, well, where's my money going?
saying. Yeah.
And then you're looking at all of these, you go back, you look at the budgets, you
Yeah.
hear the different sound bites from these different politicians about
Yeah.
why we need the money here or why we spent the money here.
Yeah.
And I kind of just picked a direction and said, well, I want to be a part of lowering taxes.
Right.
If I'm gonna be punished for being successful, you know what I mean, then
Yeah.
I might as well have ambition at all. I might
Yeah.
as well just get down or lay down. And I didn't think that was good. I thought it would kill innovation. I wanted to be a part of the reason why people went out to create.
So that is what made you choose the whole politician thing and being in the political party,
Absolutely.
because you saw the need to help and also help better yourself in the
Mhm.
business that you was trying to run.
Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah. So going forward, so what's your plans with going forward? Like, how do you plan to spread the information that you have to help the people?
So I just founded the Black Power, the Black Policy Initiative.
Okay.
What the Black Policy Initiative is it's a political political nonprofit. It's nonpartisan.
Okay.
We want to educate people on policy, and it's
Nice.
strictly policy.
Okay.
We want to make sure people understand where their money is going, when it's going somewhere,
Right.
and through that education, we want to activate them. And get them involved.
Yeah.
If you see now, there was a real concentrated effort to get voter turnout.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I see that.
Unfortunately, that voter turnout doesn't always spread to everybody.
Right.
Right. And so how do you get people to care about the Supreme Court election?
Yeah.
How do you get people to care about the Attorney General election?
Yeah.
And it's not that there aren't people out there trying to do the work, it's that it's done late and it's done in very inconsistently.
Yeah.
Right. And so I want to be the person on the ground talking about these issues in real time consistently. I want a 300-day-a-year grassroots operations that is always on the doors,
Yeah.
always talking to voters. Because when it gets cold outside and it's snowing,
Yeah.
ain't nobody on 8th
Yeah.
and Atkinson
Yeah.
knocking doors.
Yeah. That's true.
You know what I'm saying? Ain't
That's true.
nobody on the east side of Keith
Yeah.
knocking doors,
Yeah.
talking to voters,
Yeah.
educating them on the issue.
Yeah.
You got to turn on your TV to get it if it's an election time, and even then, it's swayed one way or the other.
So how do you try to reach those that believe that the Republicans are going to be worse for them? That's not going to help them. How do you ensure them that it's going to be all right and things is going to be better now that a Republican is in office?
Well, look, we nonpartisan. So in my opinion, it doesn't matter who in office.
Okay.
That's one thing. That's a barrier I really want to get past in our community.
Okay.
It don't matter who in office.
Yeah.
We the ones with all the power.
Yeah.
The founding fathers made the Constitution up with all intensive purposes for us to have all of the power.
Yeah.
Right. And so unfortunately, we don't necessarily use that.
So for some black people, and when you say for us to have the power, is it us or is it certain people that have the power?
Well, it's everybody has the power. You got
Okay.
the power. I got the power. If you vote,
Mm.
if you don't, if you pay taxes,
Yeah.
you have power.
Yeah.
Right. You can walk right into your legislative's office. You want to go see your legislator, you can go see him.
Yeah.
You want to call him, you can call him.
Yeah.
But who's doing it consistently enough to hold them accountable in real time?
That's a good
Right?
question.
So it doesn't matter who's in office.
Yeah.
Trump, Kamala, Evers, Walker.
Yeah.
It don't matter.
Yeah.
Who gonna hold their feet to the fire when the policy go up?
Right. Right.
That's what matter.
Right. Yeah, I mean, you do have a point, and I think the most important thing is to get that information out to those that don't either know that
Mhm.
or that don't believe that, and that you can educate them and help them on the policies that you're trying to share with them.
See, you did such a beautiful job.
Yeah,
man.
well, hey, man,
Really?
well, that's
to
gonna
get you a
cost
pay
you
raise,
$39.95.
I'm gonna say, I think you definitely need a pay raise, man.
Come on, cut the check, management.
I don't have the checkbook with me right now, but we're gonna make sure that
Hey, then we
we
can
come back
talk.
to you.
Then we can talk.
We're gonna come back to you.
Yeah.
If they bring that chicken back in here, I'll make sure. I'm gonna make sure you get the big piece.
Hey, man, I want the big thigh.
there
man.
you go. I want to make
Thighs
sure
high.
you get the right thing.
That's it.
Right, beautiful. Hey, sorry, every once in a while you have live and live stuff happens.
It's all good. It's all good.
Trying to resolve some stuff at the same time. But you've talked about really your passion being making sure that we help transform this community. I know a lot of it is through the political lens in terms of trying to make sure that people take full advantage of their voice. Now, I've been talking to people about their vote is their voice.
Mhm.
But I think in your case, you've been talking to people about, no, your voice is your voice.
Absolutely.
And you have the ability to voice, your opinion and what your needs are in this democracy to make sure that you get what you need.
Yeah, and this is the unfortunate part is because we are in a two-party system, unfortunately, you have to vote for one way or the other. So you might sacrifice some priorities so that you can gain others.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So in my case, I'm really big on justice reform policy.
Yeah.
But I'm a kitchen table issues type of dude. I'm a father, and so I'm always looking at it from the economic standpoint, and an education point of view. So I sacrifice those social issues that I know make a big difference economically too, for the greater good of the overall mission of taking care of my family. But we shouldn't have to sacrifice that because we voted one way or the other. Vote that one way and then go and advocate for those policies on the back end. You gave that person your vote. They know you a supporter. If you don't wrote a check to somebody, you done showed up to an event to shake hands.
There you go.
Why you don't go
Jermaine.
and say, hey, this is important to me just like this? How come we can't find us a solution and a middle ground on this? It ain't no reason why. Is everyone's putting their personal agenda and their political agenda before the agenda of the people when they all work for us.
So, okay, how do we get this back to, because it clearly is twisted. So how do we get it back to not being twisted?
Well, we just got to be present on the ground. You know, you got a big legislative session coming up in January. I'll see your favorite legislators in January. All right. You got to be outside. You got to go to the Capitol. You got to be at the hearings. You got to continue, constantly be looking at the legislative website in Wisconsin and see what bills is up, because things happen right under your nose and you won't know it until the news posts about it after it's all said and done
If they
with.
post about it at all.
Right. And so it's our job, like it's our response. They call it a civic duty for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
If we're not doing it, the people they're paying attention to us not paying attention. They are. It's the reason why We Energies could lobby so hard for that transmissions bill. People barely knew about it because it's such a wonky policy. It's nothing no one's paying attention to. It's not a hot topic. It's not cool. So you miss it. But your energy bills almost went up by double digits, and you might still deal with it. But imagine how less of a fight we have if people are just a lot louder and more educated on that policy.
Yeah. So okay, you're talking about people getting really active, right?
Mm-hmm.
In a lot of cases, really active on something that they know nothing about, have never been involved with before, right? So, for the folks who are like, paying the bills, feeding their kids, trying to keep ends going, maybe trying to figure out what to do about a car, etc. How do you even get them involved, right? They got 99.9 other things to do. How do you get them even involved in the conversation at all?
Well, one thing I always try to tell people who tell me I don't vote, I don't pay attention to that. Everything in your life is attached to politics. Lift your mattress up right now. You will see a tag that says it's illegal to remove this.
Mm-hmm.
You can't sleep without politics. You leave outside to spend your money, you pay taxes. It's politics. All right. The cosmetology industry has these bad regulations on them. You go get your haircuts, you go get your hairstyle. They want their money back from that education. You paying for it at the end of the day.
Well, maybe Jermaine's paying for it. Now, in my case, I have not seen a cosmetologist in a while. So,
well, if you've gotten a haircut,
I can't get a haircut these days.
Well, you can. I see the beard is nice. All right, you got to shape up the grays. Come on, you can.
That's all there is. That's all there's left.
Nah, Doc, it's over.
Correct. Right. Sometimes you got to call it.
Nah,
it's over.
Collier Creation, 68th and Village. My man Will get you. His name
beautiful.
is Will too. He'll get you together, man.
There we go. So okay. So for these folks, as you say, all these different things, in politics, and I'm proud to say that Carvey, still age 19, right? Yeah. I'm trying to make sure. This was your first time voting, right?
Yeah.
And you actually showed up.
Oh yeah, man, ready and prepared.
Showed up and did your thing.
Yes, sir.
And you went from the top to the bottom.
I don't know what you mean by that.
see, there we go.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, most definitely.
But actually, I actually voted for, and I'm gonna say I voted for the young man Kevin. That was
Kevin Anderson.
Yeah, man, I saw his
Anderson.
name, and that kind of put a smile on my face. 'cause
So
I
you
was
literally were in his district.
no. Yeah.
Well, it'd have to be, man, if his name was on that ballot.
Yeah.
Otherwise, some fugazi.
Yeah, I say, hey, man, there's some foolishness going on.
Thank you.
That side eye. Wait a minute. How did your name get on there, Doc? No. But his name was on our ballot.
Yeah.
I voted in Sherman and Roosevelt.
Okay.
So it was in that district, and when I saw his name on there, I remembered the conversations that we had and him sitting there and what he said, and that's what made me vote for him.
And you said it. You got my vote. And honest to God, he really did.
Hey, man, I'm a man of my word.
Yeah. So I think it's a great example of, one, having people come on the radio and talk about, because I don't think there are enough people who are running for office who actually show up to tell us what they're going to actually do. But, how do you hold them accountable afterward?
So I'm actually having an event all about this on November
Oh.
19th at Collier Creations, the
Okay.
barbershop I just recommended, 68th and Villard.
Okay.
We getting started at 6 o'clock. Free food, free drinks come out. And
Wait,
we're
what
gonna-
kind of food are we talking about?
it's gonna be good. It's
Okay,
gonna be- I
now.
don't pull no punches, man.
Okay, I just want to know
I
now.
know you see my skin shining, my face fat. I'm eating good. Will.
Okay.
All right, I promise you that. I'm gonna take
I'm
care
trying to
of
make
the
sure
people.
I'm eating good. What's going on at this event?
I got you. We're gonna have some good food, some good drinks. We're gonna be talking about how we involve ourselves after election day.
Okay.
We're gonna have fun activities. We're gonna do it in real time.
Okay.
I want people to go home with those skills, but we gotta be present and we gotta be informed. And if they not gonna come to inform us, because they not,
Right.
then we have to be out there to seek that knowledge ourselves. Because again, it's our duty to do so.
You know, it's funny you say about that, because they're not going to show up. When we had, I asked for a couple of young people, we ended up with 11 folks all crowded. You see the size in here.
Yeah.
We had 11 people crowded in here for one show. When we wanted to talk about, what's going on with young people and who's talking to our young people, who cares about what's happening with them, right? Kari was here, Jermaine was here. But what we found out, I asked, hey, are any campaigns, either side, coming to talk to you? Nobody from either side had come to talk to them.
Mhm.
And yet, some of those same young people, they got involved with the Leadership Institute, got training, and they went out and did, the GOTV stuff, get out the vote. They were out actually getting people to show up. But they were out actually to help people get to show up for the conservative side.
Okay.
Because in their case, it was like, look, they were frustrated about this inflation
Yeah.
and the inability to actually afford what's going on or what they're trying to have go on.
Yeah, it's a real issue, and I mean, you can see even in that, like that one conversation had someone reach out, and they were so ready to go. They was like, "Come on,
Right.
let's go make a difference." That if no one's gonna come and tell you, then you'll never know,
Right.
or you'll vote blindly,
Right.
and that's how you get. We'll vote this way for this amount of years over and over and over again because it's
with no change.
Yeah, it's just learned behavior.
Right.
Unfortunately, neither side, no matter where that vote's going, is going to come to your door in February to tell you about something that's happening in Madison.
Right.
They just not. Some people do. I did do Americans for Prosperity, but it's concentrated. They never would let me go to the north side of Milwaukee because they felt it was too costly time and money to
Mhm.
go and talk to people who move every year or two.
Right.
In my eyes, I'm like, well, let's just go anyways. If not for nothing, they got a flyer and they sauce.
Right.
They know now.
Right.
Whether we knew who they was or not, they know why we here now, right? And so that effort has to be present, or you'll never be able to change anything.
Wow. So you look around our community, and we got a lot of potential. Used to have a lot of jobs on the north side.
Yeah.
Used to have a lot of factories on the north side. I had a lot of people who had very good paying, family supporting jobs, the ability to buy a home, buy a car, take care of your kids, be able to potentially send them on to college. How do we get some of that back? I mean, if we take what you're talking about in terms of how we get engaged, how do we turn that into the benefit so that we rebuild this community?
Number one, we got to cut taxes. The taxes are way too high.
Jermaine, you okay with that?
I love cutting taxes.
Okay.
Yeah,
It
and
works
I-
for me.
Okay,
and
cool.
I think if we're not cutting them, we need to start to regulate how much government spends. And so one of the policies that the Black Policy Initiative really wants to focus on going into this next year is we want to talk about the Taxpayer Bill of Rights, or TABOR,
Yeah.
which right now only Colorado has, but it forces any new taxes to go on a ballot to be voted on by the people.
Mhm.
It requires any extra money that's collected in taxes that goes over the state budget to be refunded back to the people. Going
Okay,
back
there-
to what
there you
were
go.
talking about
Jermaine,
earlier.
did you know there was $7 billion that the state budget had in our money? And you know what they said?
I had no clue.
You can't have it back. No backsies. That's what the
Whoa.
policy is still going to be, because they're spending some of that money, right?
And then think about that budget cycle, right? You had Evers with his veto pen increase taxes for 400 years. Now you might think, well, I don't make enough of that to hurt me, but if you own a house, it's gonna hit you hard. If you rent, which a lot of people in Milwaukee do, black
Right.
people in Milwaukee,
Right.
right? That cost is going to be passed down in your rent.
And we've seen double-digit increases
You're
in
already
your rent.
seeing it.
Yeah.
And so for the next 400 years, you finna see even more. You might end up priced out of your home.
Yeah.
if
And
you
I
can't
don't
afford
expect
it.
to be around here for the next
Right.
400.
Yeah, and so,
You know, I
so
make 100. You know, I'm be good.
right. So I mean, lower taxes. You know, money gonna go where money at. You know what I'm saying? Businesses gonna want to come here if they know that they can make a dollar while providing a skill or they
Mhm.
service. And on the back end,
Yeah.
if people saving money on their taxes, they're gonna go spend more money
Right.
every single time.
More money is being spent here means more jobs, right?
Exactly. And we know the black dollar is a very powerful, powerful thing, right? Imagine if you could lower taxes in Milwaukee. Instead, we continue to burden people with more tax increases. You know, we continue to burden the state, the city of Milwaukee can barely afford what they got on their books right now.
Right. Right.
The city is in debt. And who they going to come to get that
And
money?
the county too.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We're going to end up paying for it at the end of the day. And so cut taxes, we could probably get new business. You know, cut taxes, businesses can't afford to expand and hire more people.
We got a lot of storefronts that could be filled.
You see what
a
I'm saying?
lot of
And
storefronts.
a lot of those storefronts, you know, are too expensive because of the cost. I had a
Yeah.
good friend of mine who owned a juice bar right on Prospect called Quench. And she ended up having to close her shop down because the rent was going up by like triple digits, and she couldn't afford it. And she
Right.
was already struggling to pay for what it cost before that. It's a black-owned business on Prospect who couldn't survive because of the high cost of living in the city. And she
Yeah.
looked for real estate in so many places, couldn't find it affordable in the city.
Wow. Okay, we're going to continue this conversation right after this break. Come on back.
What's the difference between me and you? Me and you. Me and you.
All right, WNOV family, we are coming to the end of yet another show. It's gone by so fast, so fast. Everything in this country is going by real quick. The dollar's definitely going by real quick.
Man, who you
So
telling?
That's for sure.
yeah, the dollar's moving faster than everybody else. So all right, we were just talking about the Black Policy Initiative, and you were trying to tell us about, you know, how do we all get involved and et cetera, and why, right? So for the audience, let them know, like, okay, well, so what would a Black Policy Initiative look like? What's the agenda? What are you trying to get out here for our people?
Yeah, so we talked about the taxpayer bill of rights recently. Another really good thing about that is it actually reserves 3% for an emergency fund, so we get to save some money on the side for those rainy days as well.
Okay.
And we already have a slush fund, which we should probably do better with in the
Yeah.
future.
Yeah. You're talking about the state has a slush fund
Right,
of our money.
yes, and so
They just slushed like $7 billion in there.
yeah, and that basically ensures that there's still revenue being put up. We're not just cutting taxes and giving money back.
Yeah.
We still have our
So there's a
essentials taken care
reserve,
of.
but above and beyond that reserve, you're saying that in the taxpayer bill of rights, we get our money back.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. What else you got on the agenda?
So we really want to advocate for universal school choice.
What is that supposed to mean for the people here in the north side?
It doesn't matter what zip code you live in. Doesn't matter how much money you make. You can go to whatever school around the state. If you want to go to Pius, but you're in the NPS district, that money will follow the child. And what universal school choice is all of that money transfers, which is how it should be. If you aren't at the school anymore, that money should go to wherever that.
So the money follows the kid.
Absolutely.
No as opposed to the money following the system.
Yes, and with no limitation. So right now we have the school choice voucher, but there's a limit to how many kids can enroll into the voucher. There's a limit to how much money that school is going to, the private school is going to receive for accepting that kid. And we want to break all of those barriers and make sure that the quality of education is good. I mean, we had a great school right here in the area, Hope, that just couldn't sustain the cost. And imagine if they had what they need, we would have had a great institution still here in the area.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, what else you got on your list of the agenda? What else for the community?
So one of the policies I'm really excited about is trying to remove felony charges for child support delinquency.
Wait, what are you saying?
We want to remove felony charges for child support delinquency.
He got Jermaine's attention now.
Yes, sir.
Now, we gotta stop punishing fathers for impoverished circumstances. And we split the family up even more when they have to suffer from things like that. Imagine being in jail and not being able to see a kid at all, not being able to have an opportunity to take care of your kid at all. I think it hurts more than it helps. And we need to put that personal responsibility back on the parent instead of punishing them. Now you punish them, the state continues to take care of the mother, and now they got to take care of you, when in reality you could be out doing what you have to do for your family.
Wait, that's up now. That's something. So wait, because you couldn't pay, we put you in jail, but now Jermaine's got to pay the bill for the fact you're in jail.
Exactly. Yeah. It's backwards. Is very contradicting of the point in the first place,
Yeah.
Not only that, but I believe child support should be for absent fathers and not broken relationships.
Yeah.
So a lot of these men and that's fall in that boat that you get hit with child support because you break up with the mother of your child. When you're with them, you don't think to keep receipts because you're in the relationship. You think we're going to get married, so we go buy stuff and you don't keep the receipt.
Right.
You break up, they get mad, they go down and tell the judge you never did anything. You have no proof to stand on that you has been in the child life.
Right.
Therefore, you get slammed and put into the same category as the father that is absent.
The abandoned.
Abandoned. And it's no fair to the fathers that's taking care of the kids, that's spending time, money, effort, but because you broke up in the relationship, now you have to pay child support because they use that as a nuclear bomb because they know that's going to put the black man
weaponized. It's weaponized lawfare,
and that's not fair. And for years, I've been saying we need somebody in place that can address this situation because there's a lot of men that can't get houses, passports for back own child support that they shouldn't owe, and they're still taking care of their kids, but because they're grouped into one lump sum, they all got to pay the consequences of an absentee father.
Yeah, and that's my thing, right? It's not like there aren't punishments already put in place for people who aren't paying the child support, right? That list of things you just ran off. You can't get a passport. You get your money garnished from you. Your tax refund taken from you.
Driver's privileges.
Exactly. So you being punished 10 times over, and now you're gonna put an F on my record?
Yeah.
it's not fair.
Mhm.
So we have to reform the system. Going back to how we can make the community better.
Yeah.
Think of how many people see that child support and say, "I'm not hiring this guy. He's a bum.
Hmm.
You don't pay your child support. How I know you're gonna come on time?"
Right.
And if you're a black man, everything is already being counted against you. The card is stacked up against you. You don't need one other thing to hold you back in
Yeah.
life.
I know somebody that did 5 years paper, 4 years in prison stay for child support. I know somebody that just got out of prison doing 9 years for child support. You take 9 years of this man's life
Wow.
for child support. Not that he wasn't a good father, it's just he wasn't able to pay after you stamped him and he didn't have a job
Yeah.
and couldn't pay.
Mm.
Talking to his kids every day, taking care of his kids, but because he couldn't pay the state, they locked him up.
Hmm. Wow. And so these are kind of the things that you're talking about, kind of real life stuff that folks are going through
Right.
that doesn't have a party stamp on it,
Mhm.
right? It's not a Democrat or a Republican issue.
Exactly.
It's a real life
It's
issue.
a real life issue.
Right. And so those are among the kinds of things that you're talking about, doing something about. Right.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So how do people get involved?
So we got our first event, like I said, November 19th, Collier Creations.
Because you got Jermaine already riled up, man.
Yeah.
It's I've been saying this for years that it's not fair, and it's us that's going through it. It's the young black men
Yeah.
that's going through it. And I tell my son, he don't have any kids right now, but be careful, because once you tap into that market, and if the relationship don't work out, there's a good chance that she might push that nuclear
Mhm.
button on you.
Woman state. Woman state.
Yeah. So really, I mean, Jermaine will tell you real quick if it's not of interest to him.
Oh yeah.
He will tell you very quick.
Yeah.
Right. So you have hit a nerve with
Doc.
Jermaine,
I mean,
right?
my legs shaking.
I'm glad we got you. We're gonna do something. We're gonna work.
So you got him on the first level. Now you got to get him reeled in as to, okay, where do we go to hear more about this agenda?
Yeah, so y'all come to that event November 19th, but also go to BPI Milwaukee, that's B as in ball, P as in Paul, I as in internet, Milwaukee.org, to find out more about our overall policy budget.
So BPIMilwaukee.org. Is that all BPI Milwaukee all together?
Yep, .org.
Okay, .org. And that's going to get you to the agenda.
Yep.
That's going to let you know where to go for this event. But
Mhm.
if I just was listening to the show, tell me again, what is that address?
Let me get it. It's 68th and Villard.
Okay.
It's 6802 West Villard Avenue.
6802 West
Yep.
Villard. Okay.
Yep.
Collier Creations.
Collier Creation, that's spelled COLLIER.
Okay.
Creations. Definitely come out, man. Will been letting me do these events in his barbershop for free. I'm telling you, I ain't went to go see my boy in a little minute. So
That's my dude, Will.
Yeah, you know Will. Yeah, get you
Will
crispy
went to
down.
King, man. He got the shop right over there by Golden Chicken.
Wait a minute now. See,
On Villard.
look how this comes together.
That's
Yeah.
my dude, right
Small
across
world,
from the gas station.
Best
So now
barber
you
in the
know
city.
it's a
Yeah,
legit
that's
place.
my dude. Yeah,
Okay, you know it's a
Big Will.
legit person behind
Yeah.
it. You know the location.
yeah. As soon as he
Right.
said the last name Collier, I got to thinking, well, wait a minute, Big
Yeah.
Will.
Yeah,
There we
Yeah,
go.
yeah.
There
Yeah,
we go.
he a monster with the Clippers, man.
yeah.
Schedule
True.
yourself a cut for that day so you
Big
can look
Will.
crispy when you come in, man. I'm
Go
telling
holler at
you.
Will.
You
That's
got
my
to.
dude.
You got
Wait,
to.
have a little fried chicken.
Yeah, Doc chicken on the side, get a little season. And they even got the little dog thing over there, like right next door. Though you can bring your puppy and you get him cut and shaved up.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, so everybody can get a
Hey, man,
shit.
everybody clean as a whistle.
I got you.
Our reasons to be in the area on the 19th.
Beautiful. That's on the 19th.
Yeah.
What time is it?
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock
PM.
on the 19th,
Yeah,
right?
bring your family. We got dinner, and come ready to talk, because this event is not for me to stand up on a stage and tell a bunch of people a bunch of things. It's for people to come and let their voice be heard, learn from the other people in the room about the experiences they're having on these different issues, and then for us to learn together about
wow.
what we can do about it.
Yeah. Well, you got Jermaine, man. If you get Jermaine
Yeah.
fired up,
You got me,
and,
Jack.
and look, Jermaine knows a few people.
Yeah,
Thank you.
a whole heap of people.
There you go.
Jermaine,
And,
my
and some
man.
of them you want to actually see.
Yeah.
So, no, thank you so much, Jamiroquan Kittler. You are the founder of the Black Policy Initiative. It's BPIMilwaukee.org.
Yep.
You got an event coming up at Collier Creations on November 19th at 6 p.m.
Yes, sir.
And there's food involved.
yeah. Come
Okay,
on
now. So, all right. WNOV family, you're going to come on back next Monday at 3. Just do it one more time.
Clear.
You're listening to WNOV 860 and W293CF.